The unearthed truth. In the heart of the Zerthian Nebula, where stars burned violet and rivers of plasma twisted through space, the Archaeological Council of the Tari Empire had long prided themselves on knowledge. Every relic, every artifact, every trace of a vanished civilization was catalogued, analyzed, and stored with meticulous devotion. Humans, in their tiny corner of the galaxy, were always considered a curiosity at best, or an annoyance at worst. Primitive, short-lived, and overwhelmingly fragile, they barely merited more than a passing footnote in the grand codex of galactic history. And yet, whispers had begun to circulate among the Tari scholars. Human artifacts had been detected, far from Earth. Counselor Vraxel, eldest of the Tari archaeologists, scoffed as he reviewed the latest reports. "Nonsense," he said, his voice scraping like rusted metal. "Humans cannot survive outside their atmosphere for more than a few decades. They barely colonized the Sol system before splitting into factions and nearly destroying themselves." He tapped a claw on the display. "Yet somehow we detect traces of their technology on Mirith Prime? That world has been abandoned for over 10 millennia. Perhaps their engineers were primitive scavengers," suggested an assistant, her mandibles twitching nervously. "Or automated drones left behind by Earth?" Vraxel waved dismissively. "You see? Preposterous. Human relics cannot exist here, in this place. This council will not be distracted by myths and legends." And yet, curiosity gnawed at the edges of the oldest counselor's mind. A faint tremor ran through him when he ordered a specialized expedition to Mirith Prime, a planet long considered dead, stripped of resources, abandoned after catastrophic storms made it uninhabitable for any intelligent life. The shuttle descended slowly, stirring clouds of dust and metallic sands. The ruins of Mirith Prime's once magnificent cities stretched beneath them. Shattered spires, toppled statues, and colossal gates carved with runes that predated even the oldest Tari records. The scale was staggering, the emptiness haunting. "Atmosphere is unstable," said Lieutenant Karshaw, the field leader. "Radiation spikes, geothermal activity, wind currents. If anyone survives down there, they must be extraordinary." Vraxel ignored him. He had come to prove humans irrelevant. Nothing more. But even as he landed the shuttle, a creeping unease gnawed at his exoskeleton. The ground itself seemed alive. The team deployed sensors, drones, and scanning arrays. Hours passed with little result. The ruins were silent, desolate, as expected. And then the first anomaly appeared. A stone slab, half buried in a crater, emitted faint energy readings. Vraxel leaned closer, heart, if Tari could be said to have such a thing, racing. Symbols glowed faintly along its edges, clearly inscribed but unlike anything recorded in the codex. A closer scan revealed them to be human in origin. Letters, numbers, and patterns unmistakably crafted with human ingenuity. One of the junior archaeologists stammered, This can't be. Humans were never here. These symbols are theirs." Vraxel's claws trembled. He felt a creeping horror, one he had never experienced even during deep space excavations among the Marathian catacombs. "Impossible," he muttered, scanning again. "The timeline, the origin, none of it makes sense. These artifacts predate known human expansion by thousands of cycles." Then came the second discovery. A mechanism buried beneath the sands. A cube of intricate construction, etched with tiny symbols and filaments. Its design defied Tari engineering logic. Microkinetic energy flowed through it, powered not by plasma or crystal matrices but by a form of raw, adaptive resonance. The cube pulsed in response to proximity. Karshaw's jaw clicked audibly. "It's alive, not biologically, but it reacts. It's thinking, or remembering." Vraxel's mandibles twitched. He stepped closer, cautious, instinctively wary. "A relic cannot think, cannot remember. This is impossible." Yet the cube pulsed again, and a holographic projection erupted from it. Images of Earth, of humans constructing, moving, exploring, then leaving traces on Mirith Prime, leaving behind technology that would survive eons. The counselors watching from orbit could not look away. Data streamed down, filling screens with evidence they had long refused to accept. Humans had been here, and they had left something purposeful. "What is their purpose?" a junior assistant whispered. "Why would humans leave artifacts on an abandoned planet?" Vraxel's voice was a whisper, almost lost amidst the blowing sand. "Because humans never do things to be noticed. They leave breadcrumbs, challenges, messages, lessons for whoever comes next." The ground shook beneath them. Karsha shouted as a fissure opened nearby, throwing debris into the air. The team tumbled back, scrambling. And then, from the dust and sand, more structures emerged. Subterranean entrances, tunnels perfectly preserved, lined with machinery that hummed faintly as if awakened by their presence. One drone attempted entry and immediately halted, sensors reporting a field that defied spatial logic. "The tunnels are larger on the inside than the outside," the drone reported. "Impossible dimensions." Vraxel's claws clenched. Humans do not merely build. They engineer reality around them. The first of the council's skeptics fell silent, eyes wide in disbelief. Another artifact emerged. A workstation perfectly intact, containing data repositories older than the Tari Empire itself. Holographic interfaces sprang to life, displaying schematics, star maps, and devices designed to manipulate matter and energy in ways the Tari had only theorized. And then the final, horrifying revelation: human signatures on Tari homeworlds. Tiny, almost imperceptible but unmistakable. Humans had been here, not just observers but silent influencers, leaving traces across systems, hiding lessons for future civilizations. Vraxel staggered back, realizing the scale of what he was witnessing. "We dismissed them as primitive," he muttered. "We called them weak. And yet, humans have been rewriting the galaxy while we slept." The storm of dust and debris intensified. Somehow, the planet seemed alive again, reacting to the humans' legacy. Machines powered up, holographic projections swirling around the ruins like ghosts of a forgotten age. It was as if the planet itself were acknowledging their presence. Karsha turned to Vraxel, voice trembling. They weren't just here. Humans. They prepared this for anyone who came after. And we are next in line." Vraxel's vision blurred as the enormity of the discovery sank in. If this is what humans are capable of leaving behind, what have we truly witnessed? And if they return, what hope do we have? The artifacts pulsed again, responding not to humans, who were nowhere in sight, but to those who sought them. Vraxel realized the terrifying truth. Humans had anticipated skepticism. They had planned for it. Every relic, every device, every signature was a test, a measure of intelligence, courage, and curiosity. "We came to dismiss them," Vraxel whispered, his voice hollow, "and instead we found ghosts that could have been gods. Humans have already rewritten history, and we are only now realizing it." Above them, the council watchers whispered in alarm. Entire lifetimes of pride, centuries of accumulated knowledge, now felt meaningless. Humans had left a silent empire scattered across the galaxy, hidden in plain sight, and the Tari, proud, intelligent, meticulous, were utterly unprepared. Vraxel looked down at the nearest artifact, a simple cube humming with energy. He extended a claw slowly, almost afraid to touch it. "What do you want from us?" he murmured. The cube pulsed brightly, a single holographic word appearing: "Observe." And in that moment, the council realized that humans had not only dismissed the limits of biology and engineering, they had rewritten the rules of civilization itself. The expedition team, once confident of superiority, now stared in awe. Mirith Prime was no longer a dead planet. It was a message, and the humans, they were already gone. But the galaxy had begun to awaken to the truth. Humanity was not a footnote. Humanity was the author of legacies no alien council could dismiss. Vraxel sank to his knees, mandibles clicking in disbelief. "We thought we understood the universe," he whispered. "We were wrong. Humans, they are everywhere." And somewhere in the shadows of Mirith Prime, ancient human mechanisms activated, silently preparing the next stage of a plan older than any alien memory. A plan that would reveal, when the time came, that humanity's influence was never limited to Earth. The first chapter of awakening had begun. The hidden architects. The Tari Council had convened emergency sessions across all orbital chambers. Screens flickered with the raw feed from Mirith Prime, showing the excavation team staring at the human artifacts with a mixture of awe, fear, and disbelief. Counselor Vraxel, eldest among the archaeologists, paced in his quarters, mandibles twitching uncontrollably. He had seen much in his long life, ancient weapons, forbidden technologies, and dead worlds, but nothing could have prepared him for this. Human relics, on Mirith Prime, and not just relics, machines that thought, environments that adapted, energy signatures that defied Tari physics. Humans had not merely left traces, they had left legacies engineered to outlast empires. Counselor Vraxel, a younger counselor said, her voice trembling, "We cannot ignore this. They were here, and they were planning. Everything they left was intentional, calculated." Vraxel's eyes, golden and reflective, fixed on the streaming data. "Yes," he murmured. "And the terrifying part? They aren't even here. Humanity isn't waiting for us to understand. They are already several steps ahead. Every artifact is a test, a puzzle. And we are the ones being tested." Outside the council chamber, the expedition team delved deeper into the ruins. Massive underground halls stretched for kilometers, their architecture impossible by Tkari standards. Vaulted ceilings reflected phosphorescent energy, and pathways twisted in ways that should have collapsed under physics, but instead held firm. The team's drones swarmed ahead, mapping the labyrinthine structures, sending data back to orbit. "Every surface is embedded with human inscriptions," Karsha noted, scanning a wall that seemed to pulse faintly with energy. "Not just writing, schematics, star maps, energy matrices, entire civilization's knowledge, hidden for anyone capable of deciphering it." Vraxel's voice cut over the comms, tight with tension. "Do not touch anything unnecessarily. Humans anticipate greed and haste. They anticipate fear. Approach each artifact as if it were alive because, perhaps in some way, it is. Deep within the labyrinth, the human's silent presence, or rather, their lingering legacy, manifested in ways the aliens could barely comprehend. One chamber housed a device that seemed almost biological. Veins of energy, intricate microstructures, and a pulsing core. The moment a Tari hand approached, the device activated, projecting a holographic human figure, smiling faintly as if greeting an old friend. The hologram spoke in a voice that was unmistakably human, calm and measured. "Welcome. You have found what we left behind. Observe carefully. Understand. But remember, you will only grasp as much as your mind allows." The room's walls shifted subtly as if alive, reacting to the counselor's attention. Sensors picked up faint gravimetric anomalies. Karsha gasped. "It's rearranging space around us. Gravity, dimensions, they're not stable. The humans designed this to teach, not to destroy, but it's a lesson we can barely comprehend." Vraxel's mandibles clicked in frustration. "Teach? Teach? Humans leave behind artifacts capable of schooling an empire? We considered them primitive, and yet the proof was irrefutable." Another device activated, a star map spanning multiple galaxies, with blinking points marking human presence. Traces of human influence stretched across systems that predated Tkari exploration. Colonies, research stations, orbital devices. Humans had been everywhere, often unnoticed, leaving behind tools and knowledge that would test, challenge, or inspire the civilizations that followed. "They anticipated everything," one junior archaeologist whispered. "Every step we might take, every reaction we might have, they planned for it." Vraxel's gaze darkened. "We didn't just dismiss them as weak. We underestimated everything humans could be. Now, the galaxy itself must understand. Humans are not only survivors, they are architects, engineers, and strategists beyond comprehension. Meanwhile, in orbit, the Council debated the implications. If humans left relics on Mirith Prime, where else? Asked Counselor Tvash, her voice tight. We've never accounted for humans outside the Sol system, yet here they are, decades ahead of our science, embedding themselves in every corner of the galaxy. Vraxel's eyes glowed with grim realization. Every major discovery we've attributed to natural forces might have been human influence. Every system we considered independently evolving, possibly seeded or observed by humans. And now that we are aware, we must ask ourselves, are we the students or the prey? The Council grew tense, whispers spreading like wildfire. Humans were no longer mere inhabitants of one fragile planet. They were a hidden empire, a civilization whose reach transcended what any alien species had imagined. On Mirith Prime, the expedition team reached the inner sanctum, the heart of the human legacy. The chamber was enormous, a cathedral of technology and architecture intertwined. Energy conduits ran along the walls, pulsing in harmonic resonance. The air was thick with latent power, charged with the intent of its creators. Karshaw's drone approached a pedestal, scanning a small cube that seemed innocuous. It activated instantly, projecting a holographic message. Humans in their natural form, walking across planets, constructing technologies, observing the stars. The cube's voice was serene. We leave not to dominate, but to prepare. We leave tests for those who come after, challenges for those who think they understand the universe. Only those who rise to these challenges may glimpse the true nature of our legacy. The Tari team backed away instinctively. Vraxel approached, his claws shaking. They predicted our skepticism. They engineered obstacles to test our curiosity, patience, intelligence. And then the final revelation, a record of human expansion, detailing colonies and projects across systems unknown to Tari intelligence. They had observed, adapted, and influenced civilizations silently, leaving tools and relics designed to be discovered only when the species seeking them was ready. Humans were the galaxy's invisible mentors, and, if underestimated, its most dangerous players. Karshaw whispered, voice trembling. We thought humans were weak, fragile, short-lived, but everything they touch becomes a lesson, a puzzle, a legacy that survives millennia. And we stumbled into it blind. Vraxel's voice was low, but it carried the weight of centuries. Humanity isn't just surviving the galaxy, they are orchestrating it. Every relic, every system touched, every subtle influence, they are rewriting the rules. And we've only just realized it. Back in the council chambers, alarms blared. Alien scouts and surveillance drones had detected strange energy surges across multiple systems. Human relics were activating simultaneously, responding not to humans who remained absent, but to the Tari themselves. Machines, star maps, and dormant devices pulsed in perfect synchronization. Counselor Tvash gasped. It's coordinated. They're teaching us, testing us, and perhaps judging us. Vraxel's claws dug into the console. We assumed humans were primitive, weak, and inconsequential. Now we see. They are architects of the galaxy itself. We are not the observers. We are part of their lesson. As the Tari scrambled to understand, a transmission from one of the inner chambers reached the Council's network. The holographic human figure appeared, calm, imposing yet serene. Greetings, it said. You have found what we left behind. You may call it legacy. You may call it influence. You may call it test. But know this, humanity does not conquer. We prepare, we observe, and we endure. Those who dismiss us will learn, eventually, that underestimation carries consequences. We are not merely survivors. We are the authors of what comes next. The revelation shook the Council to its core. Entire generations of alien pride, of civilizations that believed themselves supreme, now confronted the unthinkable. Humans had silently engineered systems, artifacts, and knowledge to endure long past their own presence. They had shaped worlds without ever stepping foot on them, leaving behind legacies that would outlast empires. Vraxel's voice was barely audible. They planned this from the beginning. Every step we thought we controlled, humans anticipated. Every discovery we considered independent, humans seeded. Every artifact we study, it was designed to teach us. We have been blind for centuries. In the ruins, the expedition team continued exploring, now fully aware that they were standing on the remnants of a civilization that was always 3 steps ahead. They found devices that could manipulate planetary climates, instruments that recorded stellar evolution in real time, and hidden archives containing data on species long extinct or never catalogued. Every artifact carried a simple principle. Humans did not act to dominate. They acted to endure, to leave knowledge, guidance, and subtle tests for those who would come after. Those who underestimated them did so at their peril. Karsha knelt beside a console, scanning the data. They didn't just leave machines. They left philosophy, strategy, insight. They anticipated every civilization that might encounter it, including ours. Vraxel stepped forward, staring at the holographic projection of humans walking across alien planets. We were arrogant. We laughed at them, dismissed them, underestimated them. And yet, we have stumbled into a web they wove long before we existed. The humans, they are not merely a species. They are an epoch. As the Council deliberated, systems across the galaxy began to show subtle anomalies. Human relics on distant planets and moons activated in sequence. Communication arrays, previously considered dead, began transmitting faint harmonic pulses. Each signal carried the unmistakable signature of human design. Test, observe, endure. Vraxel realized the terrifying truth. Humanity's influence was not isolated. Every civilization, every planet, every system they touched might carry a human footprint, hidden, subtle, yet profoundly transformative. The Tari had not only underestimated humanity, they had entered a galaxy already mapped, prepared, and influenced by humans' silent hand. The Council's fear was palpable. If humans return, Tvash said, her voice shaking, they won't need fleets, weapons, or armies. They will already own the galaxy through the legacy they left behind. Vraxel's golden eyes glinted with the same mixture of awe and dread. They may never return, but we have already been reshaped. Humanity is not a footnote. Humanity is the galaxy's hidden architecture. On Mirith Prime, as the expedition team exited the inner sanctum, the planet itself seemed to hum with latent energy. Wind shifted, dust swirled, and the ruins of cities long dead pulsed faintly, as though acknowledging the visitor's comprehension. The humans who had left these artifacts were long gone, but their presence lingered like an echo through time and space. Karsha glanced at Vraxel. Do you think they knew we'd come? That we'd find this? Vraxel shook his head slowly. They planned for everyone. Every skeptic, every curious mind, every arrogant empire. We are just one example. The lesson is clear. Underestimate humans, and you risk everything. The team returned to their shuttle, but Vraxel lingered, staring at the horizon of jagged alien mountains. Somewhere among the stars, humans were still moving, still observing, still leaving traces. And one thought burned in his mind. No species, not even the Tari, could ever underestimate them again. The artifacts pulsed one final time, as if in farewell, or perhaps as a promise. Humanity had written the galaxy's future in silent, enduring code. And those who thought themselves masters of the cosmos would soon discover. Humans are not conquered, controlled, or dismissed. Humans endure. Humans influence. Humans outlast. And when the time came, the galaxy would understand that their legacy had already begun.